Y'all see, I added some more to the wall. We're back with the Foul Shot Show, man. We're going to slowly just build this up of random pieces of literature that have to do with the NBA until I really look like I read books. But I don't. So welcome back. I've been going for a little over a week, and things have been going crazy. When I don't record the show, people just spaz. I'm talking about my mentions. Hey, we're at Foul Shot 2, Foul Shot 2. I love that you love the show. But I saw the players in the NBA going crazy. Two of the best big men in the league going head to head. And I like the way you would think. We're not talking, going bucket for bucket, but going, I was going to say punch for punch, but nobody really hitting no punches, am I right? We got people being caught with PEDs, broken wrists and hands. Things have been going crazy. So I told you I was going to be sporadic and maybe once a week, once a month. Regardless, I just got some stuff to talk about. So let's get that off the table because that team blows, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. When I was younger, I had hoop dreams, right? Just like everybody watching this video. Hoop dreams, you want to make it to the league. But one thing I always thought about was like, man, I want to drop 50. I don't know why 50 was such a big number in my head. I want to get to the point where I drop 50 in a single game. Now, usually, that happens to the best players of all time, right? Because you have to get a certain amount of shots to drop 50 points. But occasionally, you get the player that you're not expected to drop 50, like the Corey Brewers. Yeah, the Corey Brewer game, that was crazy. The Tony Delk. I mean, I wasn't watching the game, but I know it exists. And you got other players like Terrence Ross. But what about the player to drop 50 in the NBA game and to be out of the league a year later? Now today, I'm dropping some knowledge on y'all about a player you definitely have never heard of. And you tell me you have, either A, you lying, or B, you was just on Basketball Reference like I was. Willie Burton. Willie was a 6'8" forward from Detroit, Michigan. So back in the 90s, Willie was drafted 9th overall to the Miami Heat. If you're drafted top 10, A, you got a little bit of buzz and you can hoop. And Willie could. So you're probably asking, how do you go from top 10 pick, dropping 50, to out of the league a year later? It's crazy. So Willie spent the first few years of his NBA career a part of the Miami Heat. We're talking 4 years specifically. But in those 4 years, he fought depression. He fought alcoholism. And because of that, the Miami Heat was like, you know what? We don't really need him on our team anymore. So they released him. And the 76ers gave my man a second chance. And Willie had this, like, maybe he ain't the one to say this, but there was some form of personal vendetta against the Miami Heat because he played against them 3 times that season. He dropped 19 points, which may not seem like a lot, but again, this is a guy that didn't have a very good NBA career. 13 points and then a 53 bomb on them. Let's talk about that 53 points. Do y'all know what the game score stat is? It's basically a stat by John Hollinger that tells you how good a player performed. Obviously, the higher the game score, the better game they had. If you're looking at the top game scores of all time, we have likes of Kobe, LeBron, Michael Jordan. We got Devin Booker's 70-point game. But all the way at 25, the 25th best game in NBA history happened from Willie Burton. Tell me that ain't greatness. So Willie did it all this game. 12 from 19 from the field. He had 5 threes, and he shot the free throw so good. James Harden will be proud. 24 makes. 24 makes. Now, I was looking at this game, the stat lines and everything, and I found out there was only 7,000 people in attendance. I don't know if that was because, A, the early 90s may have not been booming for basketball in Philly, or the fact that Philly was a sub-500 team. 7,000 people in the NBA game seems crazy, especially when I go to these Bulls games and they show there's 21,000 people in the arena. Only 7,000 people got to experience this in, again, early 90s. So we're not on TV every single night like we are today. Shout out to Willie Burton, man. It's just a little quick piece of trivia you can pull out of your hat when people start talking about random NBA facts. Willie Burton put up 53 against his former team and then was out of the league a year later. Now, he went on to play for Italy. He said he went to the team that offered him the biggest bag. I respect that. It just happened to be in Italy. He did make a return to the NBA. He went to a couple different teams, but ultimately he ended up retiring pretty early. But one thing I can say about Willie, he was a man that was about his business. He went back to school to get his degree, and since then he's been really advocating for young guys and different communities in Detroit. So shout out to Willie for putting on not only in the NBA, but outside the NBA. Can we talk about this team, right? I threw the hat because that's the only thing I can do. I be rocking this hat backwards because I don't want people to realize that I'm really a diehard Bulls fan. Can somebody put a minute on the clock? Because I know everybody don't care about the Bulls, but there got to be some Bulls fans here. Can we start? Okay, Jim Boylen sucks. I mean, I know that's the consensus, right? But I go to every Bulls regular season game at home at least, and we just played against the Lakers. Played amazing for 2.5 quarters. Late in that third quarter, they start to fall apart. We go into the fourth quarter. Jim Boylen has this unit out that can't score, that can't defend, right? The Lakers go on a 10-2 run, and Jim Boylen don't call a timeout. And Jim Boylen don't make no subs. And then he goes to the podium after the game and say, I don't want to mess up my rotations. Bro, your rotations are the reason we've lost so many games. It was dope, though, to see so many people come out to the UC. A lot of Lakers fans and everything. But Jim Boylen needs to be fired. I was reading on, I got 20 seconds, jeez. Reddit, somebody on Reddit said he saw a play where Zach LaVine was bringing the ball up the court late in this game where it's still close. Lakers are on a run. Zach LaVine looks at Coach Boylen for a play call, and Boylen like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. And then that's when we get the Zach LaVine. That's the end of my rant. I'll give myself more time a little bit later. Jimmy Butler is one of my favorite players in the NBA, mostly because he started here in Chicago, so I basically got to see him develop into one of the stars we see in this league. I love him because that man is just not afraid to talk. If you put a microphone in front of Jimmy Butler, he will say whatever is on his mind. He was on a podcast recently. Jimmy, come to my podcast, by the way. That would be dope. And he said this. I always saw Lance Stephenson. I saw him, and I was like, nah, man. If he in the league, then I could be in the league. He's a talented player. Don't get me wrong. But if he can do it, I can do it. Just out of nowhere, Jimmy Butler throwing shots at Lance Stephenson. Lance Stephenson is the fan favorite, not just in this household, but all households around the world. From him blowing in LeBron's ear to him strumming his guitar, Lance Stephenson is one of those guys. Obviously, Lance Stephenson didn't like this, and he challenged Jimmy Butler. So we're about to go to a situation. The most meaningless one-on-one game of all time is about to go down. And I cannot be more excited about it. Jimmy Butler versus Lance Stephenson. Maybe Lance Stephenson wins and some team gives him a contract and he ain't got to play in China no more. There's endless possibilities. I don't know when this one-on-one game is going on, but I'm hoping it happens soon rather than later, because all the buzz is going to die down and people are going to forget that these two are beefing out of nowhere. So let me schedule this. Actually, why would I be the one planning this? Neither of them play for the Bulls. Neither of them really have real ties to Chicago. Why am I the one planning this? I just want to see it. Live stream it. Somebody there, just get it on the gram. Anything. Just make sure the world can see Lance Stephenson versus Jimmy Butler in 2019-2020 101. So if you missed the first episode of The Foul Shot, you missed the segment that we have going on named The Best and the Worst Teams in the NBA. You know that old saying, to be the best, you have to beat the best? Personally, I think that's a BS statement, because especially in the game of basketball, anything can happen. That's why we have 7-game series, because not always does the best team win a single game. Well, according to that statement, we started off with the Clippers as the best team in the NBA, but as soon as they lost a game, they fell. And the Suns, the almighty Sun, the burning Suns, end up being the best team in basketball. That was episode 1, though. Since then, the Suns have lost, and they lost to the Utah Jazz. So the Utah Jazz, for a couple days, had the crown of the best team in basketball, but then they lost to Harrison Barnes on the tip end with the Sacramento Kings. Shout out to the Sacramento Kings fans out there, because right now it's tough for y'all. Luke Walton is destroying what y'all grew last year because y'all not running as y'all used to. But you are the best team in basketball today, right now. I don't know how long this is going to last. I really don't know. According to y'all schedule, you go against who next? You go against the Raptors tomorrow. You may not be the best team in basketball tomorrow, but right now, this day, you are the best team in basketball. Let's get to the worst. So in the last episode, the worst team in the league was the Indiana Pacers. They played against the Cavs, who were ranked the worst team in basketball heading into the season, and they lost. But they did redeem themselves. They beat the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets for a few days were the worst team in basketball, but then the Nets played against the Rockets, bro. We can go on a whole little rant about the Rockets right now, but they lost to the Nets. This means that the Rockets were the worst team in basketball. And it makes sense. If you give them 158 points to the Washington Wizards, you deserve that title. But they didn't have it long because they just beat the Memphis Grizzlies. So Memphis Grizzlies are the worst team in basketball. I am just super happy that Ja Morant is not injured, because take a look at this play. You cannot tell me this is not one of the most, what's the word? Uncontrolled attempts at finishing at the rim I've ever seen. And he landed so awkwardly. Things could have ended so bad there. So I'm super happy that he's okay. He got up. He didn't even take a play off. It didn't happen. But everything in his body could have snapped in an instant. But it didn't. Shout out to the human body. Let's do Salsa Sauce. So Salsa Sauce is a segment where I go on one of my favorite Instagram accounts, League Fits. And I basically say if your fit is fire or not. If it's sauce, it's fire. If it's toss, well, we literally throwing it away like we did that Bulls hat because it's trash. We'll start off with Tobias Harris. I want to get to the point where I'm not using the same players every episode. So Tobias Harris is new. This is a clean fit, bro. We are saucing this. It's not my style. You won't see me rocking this unless I'm going to like I'm jobbing. I don't know where I would wear this outfit other than a game day, and I don't play sports. So, but for him, fire fit, very clean. He even got the little man bag. In the man bag, he probably got his toothpaste, toothbrush, whatever you need for a basketball game is all in that bag. This is a guy that will always end up on League Fits. It's Russell Westbrook, man. Russell Westbrook is one of the most notoriously crazy, wild dressers in the NBA. So he will be the king of sauce or toss. Maybe not in the way you think, because this fit right here is absolutely terrible. We have denim shorts, a denim shirt, and a denim vest to go over your it's too much denim, Russell. I mean, he's kind of on the bad streak because he had this fit the other day too. If we're ranking worst fits of all time, this is top 3. This is top. If those pants are any tighter, you won't be able to walk, Russell. I don't know. I'm guessing he's his own stylist because he don't seem like the type of guy that'll hire somebody to pick his clothes for him. He needs to hire somebody to pick his clothes for him because this right, somebody just needs to be at the door when Russell Westbrook is leaving and say, go change. Go change. Because sometimes his fits are absolutely fire, green, sauce. But then you walk up to the arena like this, I can't take you serious, dog. I can't take you serious. This episode, legit, this is what I wanted to do for this episode. I wanted to go through all of what Russell Westbrook's bad outfits and see his stat line for the night. Does he play bad when he dresses bad? And then I will put that data on the table for him and say, bro, just wear Nike sweats. You can't go wrong with Nike sweats. Just wear Nike, Jordan sweats, whoever you sign to. Because this right here, let me see. I legitimately want to see his stat line from this game. Russell gave them 21, 12, and 9 that game. Huh. Okay. So maybe we found out the exact opposite. Maybe Russell Westbrook needs to be wearing that wild stuff every night and they'll win games. Either way, I'm going to do some research on this and I'll get back to y'all. But right now, we got 2 tosses from Russell Westbrook. So last, we have best bucket. Now, it's usually where I highlight a specific player for a play or a performance, and I'm giving it to Gordon Hayward for tonight's performance. He had 39. I haven't seen the game. I haven't seen the highlights because I just got home, but eventually I will get to watching that game. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He had to have at least one great bucket in there. So shout out to Gordon Hayward, man. I really love to see him coming back to form because the injury was just so nasty. You hate to see somebody go out like that, but to see him back, 39 on great efficiency, by the way. I think he shot 85%. So I will be watching that game. But right now, let's just say he gets the best bucket. And that's it. Leave a like on this show if you want to see me do it more than once a week, or maybe I'll get a schedule. I just really need to find a different book. This art style is God tier. Shout out to the man that... Here's another James Harden one that I wanted to put here. But we can't have too much of one player because then people think I'm a stan. I don't want to be a part of any stan culture. You should be a stan of this show. Shout out to the throwback logo. Had to bring it out one time. That's it. I'm out. Peace. God damn it.